Do you want to connect your Mr. Buddy heater to a 20-pound propane tank? Well, you need a regulator? What hose do you need? Am I going to need a fuel filter? Is it still going to be safe to use indoors? Let's get into it. Howdy ho, everybody. Rich here. I recently did a video about shop or workspace heaters. One of the heaters I featured was the Mr. Buddy heater, and I talked in that video about how you could hook it up to a 20-pound propane tank, but I didn't get into specifics, so let's do that here. Will you need a regulator? No, the Mr. Heater has a built-in regulator. It's right here on the system. If you try to hook up a line that has a regulator in it, you'll double regulate the propane and restrict the flow. It simply won't work. What hose do you need? Well, Mr. Heater puts the exact part number information on the inside of the heater label. They actually offer the part number for the 5-foot and the 12-foot hose, but they mention that both of those hoses require the fuel filter, and if you don't want to use the fuel filter, they give the specific part number for the hose that does not require the fuel filter. If you decide to buy an aftermarket hose, you'll need one that has the propane tank fitting or the QCC1 on one side, and the 1" by 20 male connector on the other side. This is the same connector that you would find on the end of one of those 1-pound disposable propane tanks. Am I going to need a fuel filter? Well, Mr. Heater says if you buy anything other than their specifically designed hose, you will need a fuel filter. So this fuel filter is designed to prevent contaminants from getting into the heating system and damaging your Mr. Buddy heater. And that could include oil byproducts that come off the rubber hose. So these fuel filters can be found regularly for under $15. I picked this one up recently at the local Tractor Supply for under $13, including tax. Let me show you how to hook this up. All you do is you take the side with the 1" by 20 threads and you connect that directly to the Mr. Heater. You'll screw that in until it's hand tight, but you don't need to take a wrench or anything to it. Next, you're going to want to connect your hose, but you'll notice there's a little rubber protector on this nozzle. You're going to want to make sure you take that off before you try to connect the hose. Now just simply thread the 1" by 20 threads on the end of your hose into the bottom of the fuel filter. And again, you're just going to hand tighten that. Now simply attach the other end of the hose to the propane tank. One of the things you need to do is to check the entire system for leaks. One way to do that is to mix up some soapy water and put that all around every connection fitting. An even easier way is to take some of this foaming hand soap and just rub that all over the fittings and check for bubbles. If you don't see any bubbles, you know you've got a good seal and you're ready to go. Is it still going to be safe to use indoors? Well, you'll notice that Mr. Heater provides a warning label right here that says never bring a refillable propane cylinder indoors, for a risk of fire or explosion can occur. Hey, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, think about subscribing and give me that thumbs up. If you're interested in other quick tips, I'll link some here. I'll also link the video where I did the heater review so you can see my thoughts on the Mr. Buddy heater. Finally, to all my brothers and sisters serving harm's way around the world, you're always in my thoughts. Be safe out there.